Yeah, I'm talking to you. Today we have a special guest on the channel, the king of sales himself, Mr. Grant Cardone. We will be doing an actual live sales call training. I know how much you guys love the live sales commentary. Hoping this video is one, educational. I have worked in software sales 3 years, nothing like Grant, but I want to offer my experience as someone who's made 40,000 cold calls, what he does well, and what he could do better, and then how that actually applies to you in your own sales job. And then I hope it's entertaining as well, because he's an entertaining guy. I'd like to hope that I'm an entertaining guy as well. Make sure to drop a like on this video now. If we get 1,000 likes, I will cold call Grant Cardone myself, video record it, and potentially we could get him to answer a real life cold call on this channel. That would be really funny. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Make sure to check his channel out as well, as we are pulling directly from his channel. On a side note, I am a fan of Grant Cardone. There's a lot of people who have mixed reviews of him. I do think he is a very credible, legitimate businessman. One of my favorite sales books of all time is 10X Rule. I'd recommend it to anyone new in their sales career, or really at any point in their sales career that's looking to up their prospecting and level of activity. I really enjoy listening to his tapes, motivational videos. So in today's video, it's no way slandering him at all, but I will be offering an objective point of view based on his live sales call. Let's get into it.
This is the sales department, okay? I'm going to blow in on the sales department and show them how to sell something. That's going to increase morale, it's going to drive revenue, and it's going to make the business successful. That's what people all over the world are not doing.
He's right about that. The point of sales is to generate revenue in a business. I love his energy. He's going to drop into a sales team. Keep in mind, this was 9 years ago in 2012, so I think he's about to get after it on this call. Let's see what happens.
Sales meeting every day for 2 years. And
this is a guy on a phone call right now, and he's having trouble. Okay, I'm going to intervene. I'm going to drop in, not discuss after. I'm going to drop in.
Okay, so why don't I do this? I'll give you a call at the end of the month, and then we can see where we're at and see if things change a little bit.
Wow.
So the funny thing about this is, if you've ever been on a sales call before, anytime you get to that point of, well, hey, let's check in next month. Well, hey, maybe we get a tentative meeting on the invite for next week. Anytime you get to that point, it's pretty much over. So Grant is coming in quite literally behind enemy lines, about to ambush this prospect.
Really?
This is Carlos.
Hey, Carlos!
Hey,
It doesn't even know the guy's name or any contact, supposedly.
your business is failing, buddy.
Grant Cardone here. How you doing?
Grant Cardone. More familiar
Yes, this
with
is.
Grant Cardone, but, you know, if he sees a salesperson,
Grant Cardone?
This is Grant Cardone, sir.
or a certain type of
Oh my
client,
God.
then you can
Grant
also
Cardone?
mention a log
The
line,
Grant
just send it
Cardone.
right here.
So Grant is in a good spot. Clearly, this guy knows who Grant Cardone is. I think the name of the business is Grant Cardone, and they're trying to sell a Grant Cardone product. So the guy must be a fan. So he already has the upper hand. Grant already has a bit of leverage in this conversation, which is something you and I may or may not have, depending on the company we work for or who we actually are based on our personal brand.
Why are you handing on your lawsuit?
I never thought I'd be talking to you on the phone. I'm always talking to your people.
On average, they're 5.
Well,
How many people are working for you then, bro?
You know what? You're talking to me right now. Hey, and the
Close the deal, Grant. Close the deal for me. I want that commission.
reason I'm jumping on this call, Carlos, is because I heard Jared say something about he's going to call you back next month.
There's literally 300 videos.
Yeah, I just need some time to look at this thing, man. I want to finish out my month.
Okay, but let me ask you something. Why did you look at it in the first place?
That's a great question, by the way. That's really impressive. So he starts off the call by saying, although it was about to end, the reason I'm jumping in is I heard that Jared was going to check in with you next month. Why were you originally looking into my product? That's such a great question. Why? Always ask why. If someone wants or doesn't want or says, hey, let's do it, let's not do it, ask why to clarify. So that's a great opening question.
Well, I have an interest in training, man. I have an interest in getting my people trained.
And why do you have an interest in getting your people trained?
The 5 whys. He doubles down on why. Once he hears why the prospect was originally interested, he says, okay, why specifically? The guy says, well, I want training. And then Grant doubles down and says, okay, why double down? Why do we need training? Okay, to increase revenue, maybe increase productivity, make more calls, whatever, maybe. Let's see what happens.
$1,000 if you
Well,
want to
obviously, the better trainer, or the more revenue it is, the less expensive.
Okay, so what's important to you? What problem are you trying to solve?
In that, we're going to include a ticket for
So he just heard the guy wants to improve training so that he can drive revenue, and Grant says, what problem are you trying to solve? Okay, so he already knows the problem, but now he's trying to get more information, which is really important to a sales call, to be able to better align your solution to their problems.
But I want to get them to be able to handle all the situations that they encounter, man. I want to get my green peas better trained. I want to get my veterans excited again. I'm trying to survive like anybody, man. I'm trying to expand my
Good.
business.
And Carlos, excuse me, but do you feel like you're missing opportunities right now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, we all do.
Good. So you didn't.
So that is also a good question. Anytime you understand what the problem is, the guy feels like they're missing opportunities. Grant then reaffirms on the negative consequences of the problem. So as a result of you not solving this training problem, what does that mean? You're missing opportunities, you're missing revenue. So he's pulling the guy through the glass per se, because although the guy wants to improve revenue, if he doesn't have an actual pain or a problem, then he's not going to buy. And that's why Grant's really trying to identify that pain, that problem, and really drag the guy through the glass here. Let's see.
Call Jared. You didn't show interest in our product because you wanted to save money. You called Jared because you want to increase your income by your revenue by having your people better handle situations, get your veterans experience, and get your newer salespeople trained.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, but I just don't want to spend as much on your product as what he's asking too. I mean, can't you guys do better now? $1,500 a month's pretty high, man.
Well, the $1,500 a month. That's your objection? Is the cost?
See, he's moved already.
Well, that's one of the objections, sure. $1,500 a month, I just kind of wrap my arms around that.
Yeah. Well, let me explain to you that it's not $1,500 a month. It's $36,000
Is that yourself?
plus the $4,000 startup fee, which means it's $40,000. I need you to think about a $40,000 decision, not a $1,500 a month decision.
So this is one of the toughest things you're going to deal with as a salesperson, the pricing objection. When the person either feels like it's too much, they're not necessarily even in a negotiation phase, because I typically try not to talk necessarily price until I know that they actually want my solution. It's still unclear to me whether this guy actually wants Grant's solution, but Grant, coming from that position of leverage, says, you know what, it's not $1,500 a month, it's actually $40,000. So if I were this guy, I would say, oh my God, if I was held up on $1,500 a month, I don't know how in the world I'm going to do $2,000-$3,000 a month, whatever it may be, adding up to $40,000. So let's see how Grant handles this.
You're going to be on this program 2 years, not 1 month. If you're not going to be on it 2 years, you need to tell me that up front, because then we don't need to do it. It won't work anyway. Let me ask you a question, Carlos.
I will.
Uh-huh.
As soon as he's
When's the
gonna
last
figure out
time your company spent $40,000?
Thank you.
We probably spend almost that a month on advertising.
Have you ever had it not work?
Well, you can't ever really put a finger on it, but I'm sure, it's working somehow. We want to keep spending the money.
Right. So look, you're going to spend $40,000 to train your people over 2 years, to handle every opportunity that comes to you, and you.
I'd be curious, has anyone seen Grant's product or been through the product? I know he initially started selling to the automobile industry. Is it a training program? Is it some sort of software solution? I'd be really curious to know, what is the actual product? Is it just him training? Because I feel like he offers a lot of that for free online. If anyone has actually been through one of Grant's programs via your company, let me know in the comments down below. What was your experience and what is the actual format of it? Because I'm really curious what the product he's actually selling. It sounds like a 2-year agreement, which is, that's a great product to say, hey, we're going to have recurring revenue for 2 years, because that's what it's all about.
You spend $480,000 in the same period of time on advertising. This represents basically 8% of your ad budget. Do you want to train your people? Do you want them motivated?
You see what he did there? The guy was initially concerned about price, and then Grant's raised the stakes. He says, okay, well, what do you guys actually spend on advertising, blah, 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 has it never worked? And then Grant's quantified, well, if I know they're spending $40,000-$50,000 a month, then that means they're spending $480,000 a year. So now he's made the number even bigger and said, well, hey, don't you want to do this XYZ outcome, increasing revenue, train your people, get the motivation? So now he's brought it back down to earth, and it's a really impressive way how he's been able to walk around price just like this.
If you're going to do this sooner or later, I'm going to suggest, and that's why I'm getting on the call, take time out of the equation and let's do this.
Yep.
That's a pretty strong, compelling event right there. If you've ever been in sales, going from, okay, well, let's do it, to actually, let's do it. He's closed the gap now and says, hey, don't spend any more time. Let's do it right now, which he's got the guy excited. I'm excited. And he's a master. He really is a master. He's done this a lot. You can tell.
Oh,
The reason I got on the call was to assure you that I'm here to support you and help you.
For younger salespeople out there, including myself, whenever you're trying to close a big deal, it's always important to have an executive sponsor or some sort of leadership. So when the CEO of the company, Grant Cardone, comes on and offers the personal support, that's why he's able to come in so aggressive. If you're a bit lower level, then you can't necessarily play it this aggressive. But he's offering his reassurance. He's putting his name on it, and that goes a long way.
Look, Carlos,
tell him to fax me a contract. Jesus Christ.
Close the deal, and the guy's like, Jesus Christ.
Carlos, I appreciate your business.
They're laughing about it. You can tell the guy's like, well, whatever, let's run it. And then Grant's colleague is just laughing, saying, oh my God, I can't believe you just did this.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, and also,
Great
hey,
talking to you, man. I can't believe I got a chance to talk to you. That was dynamite, man.
Hey, let me-
I appreciate you getting on the phone.
well, that's what everybody should be doing right now to make businesses work so they survive and prosper. What's your home address? I want to send you something personal for me.
930.
That's a good personal touch. I'm going to skip through so his address isn't on here.
77478.
Okay, good. Do you have any?
So love the personal touch, and then listen to this question that comes up right here, because anytime you get off the phone, whether it be a cold call or an actual sales meeting, and there's any hesitation, just because they say they want it now doesn't mean he's actually going to sign the fax. So he asks, is there any hesitation, or is there any reason you wouldn't do it? That's a great question to add to your repertoire. Definitely something to be aware of to continue to drive urgency and that personal accountability for your prospect to get it done.
Any concerns about doing this?
No, man, my concern was the money, but I mean, the way you explained it to me, it makes sense, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's right. Would there be any Would there be any reason you?
I don't even think he's listening to him. A couple times he's phrased a question and then not even giving him a chance to think or respond, and then just goes right into it. It's an aggressive way. I don't think everyone can have this style, but he's getting the job done. Clearly, he's about to close the deal.
You would change your mind.
No, man, I'm not going to change my mind. Let's go for it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
I'm sending it to you right now. Thank you so much for your business, and look for your mailbox. Look in your mailbox.
If I were the prospect and I just heard a high five on it, I'd be like, "Oh my God, what is going on?" If I were the prospect watching this, seeing that, it's just funny.
for something special.
The guy's like, "Oh man, I was about to." The guy was so this sales rep was going to reconnect with the prospect in a month. Grant comes in and closes the deal for $40,000, and if they're getting, let's say, 10% for a commission, that's $4,000 in his pocket right there for Grant doing the work.
Thank you, man. Great talking to you.
Okay, thank you. So, see, what we do is, look, it's not always going to work like that, but if the executive drops in, brings in the altitude, brings in the enthusiasm, even if I would have failed, I restore my sales.
That's a really good point. When the executive comes in, it takes it from, okay, we're here to 30,000 foot. Grant makes the price a lot bigger to start to say, look, if you can't spend 40,000, your business isn't going to go anywhere or do anything. So really impressive how he did it. He's filming this for a show. Let's see what else he has to say.
Department, they see that I'm watching, they see that it's happening. Now they see success. That's what I want to come to the UK and do, to wake the youth.
That's all, Grant. That's all we're going to give you here today. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like. As we said before, 1,000 likes, and I will attempt to cold call Grant Cardone, and I will videotape it. And I've made 40,000 cold calls. I've got a pretty decent contact rate, and perhaps I could get a hold of him and maybe get him actually on the channel. If you're interested in daily sales content, subscribe to the channel as well. I work in software sales. I actually just moved to a new place here in Plano. My place is an absolute wreck. I'm about to DoorDash some Chipotle. We need my fantasy football team to show up and hold the line this evening. So let me know also if you've been through a Grant Cardone program. I am curious what the actual collateral is and what you see. I know you guys enjoy these live sale review videos, so I'm going to keep making them better. I'm going to hopefully increase the production, get some more effects, get some better lighting going, and yeah, we'll keep getting better on y'all's behalf. We're going to keep posting each and every day. I thank you guys so much thank you guys specifically, whoever comes back and keeps watching. That's why I keep going. Have a great rest of the day. Talk soon. Bye.